Signs suggest that we're going to have a big war soon. The president announced that he is hiking the Pentagon budget from $1 trillion to $1.5 trillion. Just announced that. That's the kind of budget that a country that anticipates a global or regional war has for its military. Obviously, we're moving in that direction toward a world war. Sorry. So how do you position yourself for that? Well, you look at a map and you ask, what areas do I want to control? Where are the trade routes? Who's got the resources? And if you were to do that, you would arrive at the most obvious conclusion of all, which is the United States has to have a relationship with Russia in order to survive anything like that.
And they're not trying to. First, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Bahashem Kakadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all the brothers and a few sisters out there. Unto us like foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. As we could, it's tension in the air through the spur of the Ba'ashem Yahushai. That war is imminent. We're not in a time of peace. We're not in a time of marriage. We're not in a time of concern about getting a new job, a high-paying job. Now we're in a time of war, baby. All right, war, war, war. And these last acts that Trump has done prove that we're in a war stage. All right, and this is what they really want. We got to understand that this man is not only is he operating, they operate in a sloppy form. They are doing what they're doing because time is running out on them. I believe Apostle Tahar is putting. I didn't get to watch the video. There'd be decades when many things happened, and right now this is the time when everything is happening. We are in the book of Revelation, which is the unveiling, and according to that book, all right, there will be undeniable world wars. Matter of fact, Revelations 8, in the last verse, it says, and I beheld, actually second last verse, right? No, last verse. I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth, by the reason of the other voice of the trumpet of the three angels that are yet to sound. Woe, 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 death and destruction. All right, World War One. Matter of fact, I'm in the neighborhood. Revelations 9 and 12. One woe is past, and behold, there are two. Behold, there come two woes more after. So that war, when you read Revelation 9 and down to this verse, it was foretelling of the war that was called what? World War One. Historically, it was called the Great War. All right, it was called the Great War, and you had the Allies, and was it Allies and the Axis? Or was it the other way around? I can't remember because World War Two. Let me see if I can. I'll Google it. That's what it's there for. I'm gonna type in the Great War. Now I might add, Trump said, "What is it? Was it October, November? I can't remember. Time was going by so fast." He said he prevented World War III. No, he didn't prevent nothing. He's positioning himself for World War III. All right, that's what he's doing. simultaneous, right? Let me see what the Allies and the Central Power. Sorry, that's what it was. The Allies, which was basically all Europe, that turned against uh, Germany, Austria, uh, Japan, and who else? But this war, this Great War, was never seen before. All right, never heard of the technology at that time that they had. That was a turn of the century. A good film to watch. Which one is Sherlock Holmes? The second one with Robert Downey Jr. And in that movie, they showed you that the buildup for World War One was tremendous. It didn't take. It wasn't an overnight thing. It was a tremendous war that had to be. Many people had to be backing it up. A lot of rich individuals strategized everything. Okay, and it was. Now I'm thinking about it. When you watch Sherlock Holmes, the first one, it was going to the secret society, right? Then the second one, when he went against his arch rival, and what's his guy name again? Uh, uh, Let me see if I can remember. Well, no, Sherlock. Let me see, Sherlock Holmes. Let me just go to two. This was a good movie, actually. I believe how me and the brother seen it in the movie. Look at that. What's his foe's name? Uh, Mo- Moriarty, which is his arch rival, and how he was funding the um the war before the war even started. But overall, it showed you how it had to be a buildup to get this war started. Now, I'm gonna type it in, but they try to say um, it's not real, but it is real. All right, Albert Pike's letter to Giuseppe Mazzini. Say AI overview. The alleged Albert Pike letter about world wars, supposedly written in 1871, which clearly is before the First War, which was 1914, right? The revolutionary Giuseppe Mazzini is widely considered a hoax. Oh, really? Let's see how much of a hoax it is and see if everything lines up. While the letter has gained significant traction in conspiracy theories, but its supposed prediction of three world wars, no credible historical evidence support its existence or authenticity. So, but everything lines up. The alleged contents. The letter outlined a blueprint for global conflict to establish a new world order. World War One was planned to enable the communism to destroy the Russian monarch, the Tsarism, which happened. All right, that was the whole concept of destroying. This is where you have a thing called democracy and all these different. You got communism, you got capitalism. The czars was a thorn to the Marxists, which the Marxists, what's this guy's first name? Well, it doesn't matter. He was a small hatter. All right, so they got rid of. So they tried to overthrow, but they couldn't do it. They had to do it. I believe that they took it down. Took Russia. No, no. Actually, it was World War One. They took them down. So they got rid of the czars. okay, and start up something else. World War II would be sparked by tensions from fascism, leading to the destruction of the Nazism and the creation of Jewish homeland. I mean, come on, that's not alleged. These are actually facts. World War III, which we are in, was predicted a conflict between the Islamic world and the West Zionists, which is the tension is where in the Middle East. So simultaneously, what's happening? Two things is happening right now. The judge that was getting on Netanyahu, because Benjamin Netanyahu, he has a lot of tension in Israel. They want to, and there's supposed to be an election. So according to their rules of the democracy, presidency is once a war starts, they can't get out of power. They have to remain in power. All right. So since they have to remain in power, the more conflicts that they have, prime ministers in general and presidents, the longer they be in office. I believe it was, damn, what, I forgot the name of the president. Slovakia, not Ford. You got another cousin that was president, but he was in office for like 8 years. Not 8 years. I'm talking about 4 terms. Theodore Roosevelt, right? And during his time, he was in office during the World War. He was in office for a long time. So this is why Zelensky is exercising, and uh, Benjamin, not a Jew, is also exercising as well. So the conflict that they tried to do. Remember last year they attacked, they sneak attacked Iran when Iran was willing the table to negotiate, and they went out there and attacked them. So now Trump is so arrogant and confident of what he just did to Maduro. He's going out there telling that Iran, if they mess with the people, he would do the same thing. So let me read it again. It says World War III was predicted as a conflict between the Islamic world. So what would stir up the Islamic world? An imminent attack in the Middle East, especially Iran. Despite whatever differences that the Iranians have, which are Persians, that would unite them, okay, to go against whom? The small little dotted area of Zionism. So it's right on point. Results in mutual destruction and uh, global collapse, paving the way for a single world government. So this is not alleged. These are exact plans that's happening right now. So according to the scriptures, there was already a world war, which was the Great War, and then there was World War II, and there's going to be a World War III. All right. So going back to the scriptures, I just had to prove that one woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter. Revelations 11, and I believe it's like 14, right? I haven't read it about, yeah. It says the second woe is past, which is World War II. Now we already read what World War II was all about. World War II ultimately was to give these people that land that they have right now, which that land that they have was under the guidance of a certain letter, the Belfort Declaration, that he wrote to the elites of the British government prior to the quote unquote greatest. I don't know. I can't. certain things you can't say. But the shit that happened during 1940s and so forth, and according to that law or that writing, which what's this guy's name? Was it Jacob Rothschild that was or happy and the Rothschilds, which have a street name after them in that place, was solely responsible for getting these people that land, which entails it fits exactly how Albert Pike and Giuseppe Mazzini was talking about. All right, so they needed that state to be created in order for them to bring in their new world order. It said, "Behold, the third woe cometh quickly." Now, from 1948, 1945, when it ended, until now, that's a long period of time. So, well, the time difference between the Lord's time and our time is completely different. It took what 19? It was 1912. I'm not mistaken. Well, I'm thinking 1911 to 1915 or 1914, First World War, and it was a 30-year, pretty much a 30-year gap. But compared to this almost 80-year happening, it probably just means that once this stuff start going, it's gonna end quickly. Is that because what are they all doing? They all strategizing on um, positioning themselves. Period. This is why he wants Greenland because Greenland has a certain strategic um, advantage, right? And the raw material that they have for their artificial intelligence. Okay. Now, if I'm not mistaken, they said they use he used like you could say an eagle eye. Watch that movie if you've never seen it before. Space to find where Maduro was at. So they use satellites and so forth to hone on this guy to get him to cut through everything. So once this thing start popping, and despite the positioning, because all this is just a global positioning, this is all strategy. Expect a great draft to take place. Young people are going to be taken for this war, all right? Which they're not coming back. I said the brother from Kansas City did a video on this clown ass nigga, um, Anton Daniels, and he had a young Jake that was talking about people in the military that how they're not coming back. They're gonna once if they go into that war, they ain't coming back. They're coming back in a body bag. Well, guess what? They're not even coming back in the body bag. Period. They are not gonna make it. All right, because this is the war to end all wars. So the Lord is gathering. Matter of fact, let me go back to this. The Lord is gathering all these nations. Revelation 16 and it's dope. I just saw something. 16, I'll just go straight to the point. And he gathered them together in a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon. In the Hebrew tongue is said Harmageddon, and it means mountain. Har Magad Magadwan. So Har means mountain. Gadwan, troops, mountain of troops. Okay, so the Lord is gathering all the nations, which goes into Zephaniah 3 and 8. Says, therefore, wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations. So the Lord's thoughts was to gather all nations. And everybody stirring up. Everybody that has nuclear capability is speaking out. All right. This is why everybody's upset with the whole Venezuela thing, and everybody comes to the same conclusion. If that little country had nukes, America would never do that. So it's about the strong. It's about those that are in power. Okay? They care less if you're peaceful or not. That's not their forte. They, they want what you have, they come in and take it. That's is the whole game right now. Is about the strong. It says that I may assemble the kingdoms to pour upon them my indignation. So the Lord is going to gather every single person to that Middle East. The scripture says the least of the flock shall draw them out. The least of the flock is that welfare state, which fits exactly what that letter says, which fits the scriptures. That letter, we go back to that letter again, which they say is alleged, right? World War III was predicted as a conflict between the Islamic world, right? Iran, damn near all the Middle East except for that small land, right? And the West Zionists. So the West Zionist is, as a matter of fact, let's go into it. I'm laughing because the Zionist thing started during that whole Balfour Declaration. Is a support of Zionism, a person who believes in development, protection of the Jewish nation in what is now Israel. See, that's it, which is true. So the Zionists that started around that time, they're full blown on what's that word I'm looking for? They're fully blown on taking over the fucking world. Just straight up. And they'll use and this is the same people, the same group of people that will call America Edom. All right. And they'll use Edom, the empire of Edom, and they'll call it Rome, they'll call it Babylon, they'll call all these names to get what they want. So they're the ones that's stirring up the pot around the world. All right, they're the ones physically are stirring up the pot because this man is war. All right, Revelation 6:4, and then went out another horse that was red, and power was given unto him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. So if you take peace, what do you have? It's a complete opposite. Why do you think Trump's administration is boastfully bragging about taking sovereign nations? Why was there a response from what's his name, Nate Rothschild, when Trump did this, took Maduro? Venezuela has been a thorn in their side for a long time, so they needed America, when it had three city states, to go in there and take that, so they could, in which is they themselves going to get 100% profit. So now legally they have control over that place. And that's just a small sample. We're seeing this devil at work. This is just a small sample of what they're doing. It says, from the earth, and that they shall kill one another, and it was given unto them a great sword. And when the Lord allowed this man to have that technology, he knew it was going to go to his head. Going to Joel, I'm not going to get it. The third chapter tells you, the weak, let the weak say I'm strong. So now the weak nations that didn't have it was after World War II. Three nations had this capability. That was the U.S., obvious, um, Russia, the adversary, and Britain. Then all of a sudden, all these other nations start to have that equalizer. and America never said anything about it. But when North Korea got access to that technology, before they got access, it was a threat. The whole world would, he would call him Rocket Boy. What is it called? Rocket Man. All right. All sort of disparity, distasteful taste. And what ended up happening? They got it and they never thought about going into that land no more. So we in a time of war. Get that? And if there, Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there's a season, time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill, and time to heal, a time to break down, and a time to build up. So we got to know what time we're in, what the time zone. If you go to another country, you may have to, if there's not in the same atmosphere as where you're from, you have to adjust to that time frame. Well, guess what? The same thing goes with here. Verse 8, a time to love and time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. We're in a time of war. This is why everybody's truly uncomfortable. They're uncomfortable. They're truly are sick and tired of the things that's going on, but they're in the wrong time frame. They want peace, but they're not getting peace. As much ish that Maduro was talking, if he was really on some wartime shit and he got the nukes, they would never fuck with him. And that's a problem for our people. They come late to the party. Because deep down inside, Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, they don't want that much friction. They would love to have peace. But the enemy, he thinks differently. He's always at war. And when he's at peace with you, he's still at war. So, hey, how about Shemiah Shai is going to do some great judgment upon Edom real soon. So with that being said, shalom to the elect of the nations. Shalom.